Captain Cannings.
Yeah.
No one does on this channel.
Good luck with killing Hadji. We have Mr. Ask, which is the vegan.
Okay.
He said he's part of my channel. How you debate? Introduce yourself, please.
Good luck with killing Hadji.
He's a little shy, I think. I don't know.
I can't hear really.
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, sorry, I just had my headphones goofing up there. What's the deal here? Are we doing 2-on-1 or?
No. Sarah is going to.
I'm gonna say goodbye and let you take it.
I don't mind if you guys want to do 2-on-1. It's fine.
Oh, hey! I love the confidence. Was that just a gun cluck I just heard? Okay.
Sorry. I'm just getting my settings all set. I was hearing double there, so I couldn't actually make out what you said, Sarah.
Oh, no worries. That's okay. I don't know much. I'm happy to listen, so I'm gonna withdraw. But give him hell.
Yeah, keep well.
Bye. Bye, people.
Bye. How's it going, V?
Yeah, that's going fine. I don't know you, but you know me, so you have me at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I know. I know the inner workings of your mind. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't watch everything you put out, but I've been watching your stuff for longer than I've actually had a channel. So I've been aware of you for quite a while. And we kind of... Yeah, no, of course. I think you're doing good stuff. And we kind of roll in similar circles. I mean, I think we share a lot of the same political views. We've debated some of the same people. I think we both debated JF last week. So, I mean, I think you've also talked to probably the Warskis, some other people. So, similar sphere.
I mean, I guess you're the second right-wing vegan that I know.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself right-wing. I don't actually, when I take that political compass test, I don't seem to consistently score left or right. I fluctuate around a little bit. I mean, if you want to talk politics, you can probe and see where you'd place me. But I don't know.
But you're not like a far left activist. That's the point. Do you know who else is right wing vegan?
Who?
Black Pigeon Speaks. I just said it before you came on. I was shocked when I heard it.
I didn't actually know that he was vegan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. I'll say one little thing about that. There is a reason why there's a perception that vegans are lefties. And it's because they are disproportionately represented in veganism. So like if you took a sample of the Gen Pop and a sample of vegans, I'm sure you'd see a higher amount of SJWs in the vegan sample. But that doesn't mean that our actual ideology is fundamentally tied to left or right political philosophy.
No, I think it's about moralizing. That's why, like, far left people love to have the moral high ground and the superiority. So, they get like one up over there. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm a vegan. You're not. You're a piece of shit. I'm awesome.
Do you think that that's what I do?
No, but I think that's what the SJWs who are also vegans do.
Okay. When you said it's about moralizing, I wasn't sure if you meant veganism generally or you were talking about...
No. Just the brand of activists that go into restaurants and throw with blood on people, that sort of thing, which I'm pretty sure you don't.
No, I can't say I've ever thrown blood on anyone or gone into a restaurant. I think there's probably more effective ways to do activism. But whatever. I mean, activism is a side topic. I think that our time would be best spent probably talking about just the actual ideology itself. Is there anything you want to say, or do you want me to just crack into it?
I mean, when I look at the like websites like Cowspiracy and stuff like that, I don't understand why there's a lot of misinformation. Like, for instance, there's videos that are taken from Africa from the 90s where they use slaughterhouses that don't have any sort of standards like we have in the EU or you have in America. And they use those for the shock value to scare people who are in Europe. And it's like, why are you showing things that aren't representative of what's going on in Europe in a video in order to manipulate people?
Okay, I'll say 3 things to that. So the first thing I would say is I'm not sure if that's true. If it is, fair enough. I don't support that. The second thing I'd say is that most groups that I know who are doing street activism, for example, and showing footage like Anonymous for the Voiceless, they use current day footage from the actual areas that they're doing the activism. And then thirdly, I would say all of that is completely beside the point because I'm not those people. So I have my own views, and that's what I would be into discussing.
Yeah, another question. There's a widespread belief amongst veganists that humans are vegetarian.
Yeah, okay. So I would say two things about that. So first of all, there is the question of what biological classification we fit into: herbivore, omnivore, carnivore.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that. I would say, secondly, that I don't actually care about that because the ethics don't hinge on that if you're capable of surviving on a vegan diet. It could be that humans were, like, if you had a, alien species that's biologically carnivorous, but they develop to a point, their society gets to a level that they can survive without killing, then there would be the ethical question for them too. So the actual biological classification is irrelevant to the ethical point if you have alternatives.
Okay, I accept that answer, but I take it you're not one of those crazy vegans like, what was her name? God damn it, Chris something. She's a Romanian atheist, and she was like trying to convince me that humans are herbivores, and it was really pissing me off.
Well, see, that's okay. I don't have a particularly firm opinion there. I don't want it to become a discussion about that, though, because all of these things, like when it becomes, does your veganism hinge on religion? Does it hinge on your political philosophy? Does it hinge on a belief about the biological nature of humanity? That just adds a secondary point for me to argue with you that's not actually essential to the ethics. If you want my opinion, I'm not persuaded that we're biologically omnivorous. It doesn't matter much to me. The reasons are: I don't salivate when I see a corpse. I don't have the ability to hunt down an animal with my hands. I don't have, teeth that move in a vertical motion to chew. I think there's stuff about your intestinal tracts and sweating through your pores, but seriously, V, I don't give two shits. And for the sake of argument, I'll say
like you also that have enzymes that can digest fiber. So, but okay, let's not talk about that. All right. So what exactly do you want to talk about then?
Well, I would just make the ethical argument, basically. So you believe in basic universal human rights, at least negative rights, like freedom from type rights, like you have a right not to be murdered, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when it comes to veganism, I would just make a very, very simple ethical argument. I'd say you hold the belief that it's wrong to murder a human, but you're saying it's okay to murder an animal. So when you say that, there's implicit in what you're saying is that there's a difference between the two that justifies the treatment for the animal. So what is that difference? And if it were true of humans, would it justify the treatment, or is it actually just an inconsistent position?
Well, the difference is that I'm a human, and it's in my self-interest to care about human rights.
Okay, so I hear two things there. I hear you saying that it's about your species and it's about your self-interest. So just going one by one, you wouldn't accept a blanket appeal to species if used to justify killing humans. So if an alien species were to say, well, you're just not alien, you wouldn't accept that argument. So it would be contradictory for you to appeal to species. And then you also probably wouldn't accept an appeal to self-interest from those aliens. So I would suggest that neither of those would serve as valid justifications. You wouldn't accept them yourself.
Like if there was an alien species that wanted to kill humans, I would ask for people to rise up and kill those aliens. And if animals want to rise up and kill humans, that's fair enough. If the chickens want to start rallying and trying to overtake humanity, that would be their right to do so.
Yeah. So the question isn't. Sorry, I thought you were talking there. The question isn't about whether it's possible for them to do so. That would just kind of be getting at might makes right. The question is whether you would ethically support the action being committed on the grounds of species or self-interest. And you clearly wouldn't, because you just said you would resist the aliens. So it would be contradictory for you to appeal to the principle that you're actually fighting when used to justify killing you.
Well, you're asking me to have empathy without species, like people ask me to have empathy without borders. I mean, technically, I really, if someone asks me, do you care that children in Africa are starving? I'll be like, yeah. But if it were like, if you would help Africa, like, would you be willing to give like half of your nation wealth to help an African nation and you would be poorer for it? I would go, no, because I care about myself, my family, and my nation more so, right? And it's the same with animals, right? If you want to argue, it's like, okay, let's talk about animal rights. And you would give them some rights so that, for instance, people don't beat dogs on the street, or they don't, mutilate animals for the sadistic pleasure. I would be like, yes, we shouldn't do that. But when it comes to eating animals, I think humans are also animals and they're part of nature. And I understand how the circle of nature works. And while you can make an argument, and I'm sure you will, saying that people can survive on a vegan diet, well, that depends. Some individuals can't. There's plenty of people who can't survive on a vegan diet. It depends from individual to individual, from case to case. And the people who have a mixed diet are more healthy than people who just eat only meat or people who eat only vegetables.
All right, so a few things. I mean, I told you specifically, I'm not a health expert. So if you want to talk about health, the person you want to have on is Vegan Gains. And
I
I
want
could
to talk
actually
with
bring him
Vegan
on.
Gains. He is the one who issued the invitation. I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then he never got back to me.
I can get him on here, but I don't want it to be 2-on-1. So if you want to talk to him after, that's fine. But I'm not the guy to talk to about health. I would just say, I accept, a peer-reviewed statement from the American Dietetics Association saying that veganism is an appropriate diet for all stages of life, pregnancy through adulthood, for athletes, whatever. I accept.
Yeah, well, usually those studies don't take into account that people who are vegans are also people who care about their health a lot. And they also exercise, they work out, they do more than people who don't care about these things. So these attributes would influence those studies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's studies that control for things like physical activity. And again, if you talk to someone who's deep on the health stuff, they'll totally go deep on that with you. So just to respond to some of the things you've said. So when you say circle of life, though, nature, though, that's just an appeal to nature. So you wouldn't accept that if that were used to justify killing you.
No, but it's an appeal to, it's an appeal to nature in the same state, like I need oxygen, right?
Okay, wait, but V, what we should do when we talk is we should both allow each other to complete points, because I'll let you say everything you want to say. And so then just with your other 2 points, I kind of pointed out that they produce contradictions, and then you actually moved on from those points. So I'm not implying you're being shifty or anything, but I just want to point out that you haven't addressed them, right? So when you say that it's about self-interest or it's about species, you would reject both of those justifications if used against you. So you really can't deploy them consistently.
If there was a species that would require to eat humans and wouldn't survive any other way, I would understand why the species would keep doing it. I would fight against it, obviously, and encourage other people to exterminate that species. But the appeal to nature idea, well, it's one of the most basic functions, right? Eating, sleeping, drinking, and reproduction, right? So it's something that humans can't really move away from. Like you can't stop eating. And as I said, for certain individuals, being on a vegan diet can end up with fatal results. And I'm telling you this because in my country, there is this thing called fasting in Orthodox faith. I don't know if Catholics still do it. But the idea of fasting is that you're supposed to spend a lot of time with prayer and not eat meat at all. And this takes place, I don't know, I think like 3 months or some shit like that. I'm not Christian, I don't know. But it's definitely a moderate period of time. And when that happens, you have a lot of old people. A lot of people have already pre-existing conditions coming to the hospital, complaining that they feel bad, that they feel fatigued, that they fainted and stuff like that. So yeah, vegan diet can work for a lot of people, but there's other people who can't benefit from it.
Okay, so a few things there. So the self-interest point didn't get addressed. The alien point, you threw in the fact that they require humans to be healthy. You still said you'd fight against it, so there's still a bit of weirdness there, but we don't require animals to be healthy. I mean, there's not a nutrient that you can't get from plant-based or synthetic sources. And then when you talk about the appeal to nature and you compare it to things like the sex drive, I mean, that actually would prove my point, V. You don't think that the sex drive would justify rape, for example, right? It's not like the fact that you have a need to eat justifies eating anything you want. It's not that you have a need for sex and that justifies having sex with whatever you want.
No, but it's like, let's completely eliminate the sex drive, right? Let's, instead of having sex naturally, let's just come in a vial, and then in a lab it will be impregnated by women, and men, human and female would completely be forbidden from having sex, you know, for whatever reason that you would consider moral or immoral. And I would be completely against that, because I would also bring up the natural point, right? So as I pointed out before, when it's about eating animals, like I'm all for not making the animals suffer. Like I'm against halal meat, for instance, and I'm against kosher as well, because it makes them suffer. So I am willing to put some limitations. Now, again, for the alien race, I really don't see the difference. Like I am all for an understanding if animals rise up against humans. So when I look at, for instance, the Spanish toreadors who get mauled by a bull, because they antagonized the bull and they were butchering the animal. Yeah, I completely think that they deserved it. I'm not going to feel sorry for that because it's in the bull's self-defense interest. So it's in the bull's interest to defend itself. So I don't think you understand what I mean, right? Animals do have a right to rise up against humans if they want, just like humans would have the right to rise up against an alien invasion.
Do humans just have a right to rise up, or do you think they have a right not to be murdered?
No, they don't have a right not to be murdered. It's nature, right? If it's an other...
Okay, whoa, wait. One sec there, though. If you're saying humans don't have a right not to be murdered, then at that point you're against fundamental human rights. And I don't think you are against fundamental human rights. So that's a big issue right there. No, I just want to say one thing before you come back.
Human rights,
just one sec, Vee. One sec. I'll let you talk as much as you want, but I just want to be clear. There's 3 things on the table right now. So there's species, there's self-interest, and there's nature. And what I'm getting the vibe of is it's going to get too expansive if we try to do all 3 at once. So we should go one at a time. So yeah, but go ahead, say what you want to say.
Fundamental human rights and law in general only applies to humans. We don't trial animals when they kill a human, right? If a bull gores a person, it doesn't go on trial. Our legislation, our entire law-based system only applies to humans. So if an alien would race would, let's say, appear and start murdering humans, me saying that I understand why they do it because they would require nourishment or whatever is not me being against human rights. Humans would still not be allowed to kill each other. It would just be in their interest to exterminate that alien species.
Okay, so two things actually. Firstly, when you start slipping in that they're biologically carnivorous and they have no other option, that creates a false analogy because that is not our situation. And then the other thing that I would want to mention there is it's not just about what does our current legal system say? Do our current laws have any, little asterisks about aliens? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what is your actual moral view. And it seems wait. Well, one sec. Of course I did, but I'm not talking about just legal human rights. I'm talking about your moral understanding that humans should have rights. So when you're saying, well, I'm just saying, Vee, if we say aliens come here, they have no need to kill us, and they're just going to kill us, you're not based on species. You're not going to say you think that's ethical. You're going to say you think they're violating a basic right that a human should have.
No, because human rights are something that is only applied to other humans. Okay, if you would have a situation where, let's say, another species develops self-conscious and has the ability to communicate with us, I'm pretty sure there would be a new legal system that would be designed on it. And even if that species was, let's say, herbivores, and they would be extremely tasty and very delicious, humans would probably make a law that you're not allowed to kill them based on the fact that they're conscious.
Okay, so Vee, you know how you don't support stoning, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the law is not the same thing as what you consider to be moral. So
but
what I'm pointing
about human rights, which is the law, right?
Okay. Well, if you want me to be specific, Vee, I'm talking about your subjective moral belief in human rights.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I think human rights should only apply to other humans.
Okay, but Vee, I mean, look, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think
I'm not giving you the answer you want, which is upsetting you.
No. Well, it's not that it's upsetting me. It's that I think it's just. Well, look, if you want me to be honest, I think it's just blatantly dishonest. You wouldn't accept being murdered by aliens.
I will explain to you. All right, listen. You are trying.
Do you think it's ethical for an alien to come down here and stab you because you're not the same species?
From the ethical's point of view, or from the human's point of view?
From your subjective moral point of view, is that ethical? It's not. So don't. Why bullshit? Like I'm.
No,
listen.
Honest with you. I will explain. No, hold on. Let me just explain. Right.
Okay.
You are trying to appeal to my empathy, right? Humans do not have the same level of empathy towards other animals than they have towards humans, and probably not towards aliens either.
That's a red herring. I'm not talking
No,
about
it's
your.
not a red herring. You're actually asking
Whoa,
for me to give
wait,
a
wait,
shit
yeah.
about animals.
One sec. I'm not just giving a throwaway statement that it's a red herring. I'll explain exactly why it's a red herring. You're talking about the descriptive reality of which species we have a biologically ingrained empathic response towards. That's not what I'm talking about. So it's a red herring because it goes to another point. What I'm talking about is you have a subjective belief in basic human rights. And I'm pointing out that in order to justify what you want to justify for animals, especially on the grounds of species, you're going to have to contradict that belief in basic human rights. So
no, everything that humans develop, everything that humans invent, well, almost everything, benefits other humans. This is the human mindset. Okay, This is the mindset of humanity everywhere, and this is why we got to where we got. So the human, the subjective human moral compass is: does this benefit humans or doesn't it benefit humans? Now, if you're asking, if another alien race would come here and would start, let's say they would be unable to survive. Well, they would be able to survive without eating meat, but some individuals from their race wouldn't. So they would start, harvesting.
Okay, let's talk about people.
I think the whole premise,
keep the analogy tight,
in my opinion, right? Because we don't have an alien race that is.
Whoa, okay, V. In any basic first-year philosophy class, if you tried to dismiss something on the grounds that it's a hypothetical, you'd get laughed out of the room. You can't say it's a hypothetical, so it's ridiculous. If it exposes a contradiction in your position, that's the problem.
Your question, mate. I already answered. I said that yes, for the aliens' point of view, it would be ethical.
No, V, that's a red herring right there. You're answering from the aliens' point of view. Wait, V. You're answering from the aliens' point of view. I'm asking about your point of view, so don't give me, oh my God,
yes,
don't get mad about it.
It is completely ethical for the aliens to do this, because in nature,
okay, so you're against
right, and you're going to say, oh, it's the natural argument. Yeah,
whoa,
I don't think we can escape nature to a certain degree. I'm willing to make compromises, but when you're addressing basic natural things, which no living creature can live without, I am going to say that it is ethical for the aliens to do whatever they want. In fact, if the aliens could just come here for resources and they would have to exterminate every single human on the earth, I could bitch and whine about it all I want. But at the end of the day, humans would be exterminated, wouldn't they?
V,
but this is just moral fagging at the end of the day, isn't it?
Okay, one sec. That's just dismissive. That's not an argument. And when you say humans wouldn't have a choice, that's you answering a prescriptive moral question with a descriptive reality. You're saying this is the reality of what would happen. The reality in nature is that might makes right. We're not talking about the reality in nature. We're not talking about what descriptively would happen. We're talking about if your subjective beliefs are consistent with each other. So when you use the justification, they're another species, to justify killing animals, you'd have to accept that justification. If aliens say to you, well, humans are another species, if species per se justifies murder, you would be bound to say that that is ethical. Now, if you want to say that's ethical, I'll say your position is consistent, but it cuts against basic human rights.
I just said it's consistent, and I disagree with you that it cuts based on human rights, since I already explained that human rights only apply to other humans.
Yeah.
I already explained to you why. Because human rights is a legal concept that humans have invented to serve other humans. Human rights make human societies better, and thus only is part of the law, right? So if let's say, I don't know, an animal gores a human, like I pointed out previously, he will not stand trial. We will not view that animal has violated human rights. We don't view mosquitoes who spread Ebola as violators of human rights, because they are animals. They do not take part into our legal system.
V, if that being were a fully sentient, conscious creature with other options available to it that understands ethics, are you telling me you think it would be ethical for that being to just kill a human because they're a human?
Oh, okay, another hypothetical, right? So
another hypothetical.
So if mosquitoes, okay, all right. So if chickens, for instance, would become sentient and they would be able to kill humans, is this the question?
No, V, we're saying if there's...
No, hold on. No, listen. Okay, so we're eating chickens, and let's say the chickens would develop a consciousness and realize that humans are their oppressors, and they would gain the possibility of killing humans, right? Then yes, it would be ethical for chickens to fight back for their own survival. Is my answer satisfying to you?
No, it's not satisfying to me.
Of
We're not
course.
talking about we're not talking about the right to fight back for their own survival. Okay, let's just tone it down a bit because I like you a lot, V. I don't want to get mad. I don't want you to get mad. So let's just try to be clear. Okay, this is the fundamental point I'm making. When you say that you support human rights, and then you say in the next sentence that you would consider it ethical for a human to be murdered just on the grounds of species, that is you actually contradicting yourself. That's you not supporting
you're
human
not
rights.
understanding how human rights work. I explained it twice. I will do it the third time. Human rights only apply to other humans. Can you write it down in your script of questions that you keep asking me? Things that aren't human can't violate human rights, no matter if they're sentient, no matter if they're intelligent. We do not have a contact with a sentient species, so we do not know what will happen then. It will probably be a new series of negotiations between the two species in order for us to see if we can cohabit with them, or we would just declare war until we get the other species extinct. So again, please make sure you understand my position. Human rights only apply to other humans. They do not apply to anything that is non-human.
Okay, so I keep seeing you try to go to this legal stuff, and we're not talking about the law.
It's the
Well,
whole
okay, yeah,
existence of human rights. Do you understand this?
Yeah, V, I understand. V, I think you're the one not understanding, just to be legit here. But
okay, chat, if I'm not understanding, press 1. If he's not understanding, press 2.
Okay. That's nice. That's your audience.
Let me explain to you why
V, one sec. I let you, wait. V, come on. I let you talk. You have to let me talk too. We both need to share. So your audience, first of all, they're on your side. Secondly, they're probably 99% Carnist, so that vote doesn't mean much to me.
Oh my God, you have a word for the outsider.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you think we're gonna say? Meat eater? Meat is a euphemism. So when you talk about, look, you subjectively,
they're omnivores, mate. They're omnivores, not carnivores.
Come on, don't go on a.
That is true, isn't it? Admit it. Most people eat both vegetables and meat. Like very few people I know eat only meat. In fact, I don't think I know a single person.
V, come on, you're going off onto another point. You're starting to talk about what people.
Yeah, but you raised it. You call my chat carnists.
Well, no, it's just a term to refer to people who consume the flesh of animals.
Why don't you call them omnivores then? Why do you have to call them carnists?
Okay, you're derailing right now. I'll answer that. The reason why I don't use the term omnivore is because I think omnivore, it suggests, first of all, that we are biologically omnivores, which I'm not sure about. And it also doesn't
like fifth grade biology study.
Okay, look, I don't know what to say except for to bring it back to the fundamental point. So you believe that a being who can comprehend morality, like you don't want that being to kill you just based on species, surely.
As I said, we haven't encountered such a being, and if we will, there would be a series.
Okay, V, that's not an answer. V,
I am answering to you, right?
No, V, you're saying you're giving a descriptive answer to a prescriptive question. A prescriptive question is about your subjective ethical beliefs, not about what would descriptively play out in reality. I'm asking you.
You don't want to have a conversation. You have a script that you're reading from. And you have you have a pattern, right? And for every question, you can't listen to what the other person says. You need to immediately give the rebuttal on your flowchart.
V, you're cornered.
No, I hate the yes and no question. I'm not going to do A or B type of question.
V,
right? So if you want to listen to what I have to say, you will do so.
V, you're cornered and you're derailing.
I am not cornered. I am not derailing. You asked me.
Well, are you having a conversation right now, or are you just talking over me?
Well, I'm talking over you because you're not letting me speak. You asked me a question, and you don't like the answer that I have to give.
No, V, I'm cutting you off because you're giving a descriptive answer to a prescriptive question, which is actually a red herring.
Normal humans don't communicate like the way you do now. You understand this? When I go to my friends to a pub and they ask me something about politics, they go like, "You're giving a descriptive question to this," and then try to talk over me.
V, we're not at a club. We're having a discussion about ethics. So
we're having a discussion about ethics, and you will listen. It's ethical for you to listen to what I have to say, not what you want me to say.
Whoa! It's V, I'm going to listen to what you have to say, but I'm also getting to a point where it's pretty clear that you're dropping red herring. So I'm going to reset you if you go off point. So when you try to answer a prescript, do you even know what those words mean? I mean, that if you don't know what those words mean, that would be a huge problem.
What those words mean, and I explained to you
okay,
a couple of times
V,
my position, and you're just going back and trying to get me to put words in my mouth that I don't want.
Yeah,
I have said
if you understand those words,
yes, it would be ethical for another species to kill humans. I have said this plenty of times, and you just can't accept it.
Okay, wait. That is a prescriptive answer. A descriptive answer is saying, oh, this would happen, this would play out legally, we'd have negotiations. That's the red herring. The answer about what you believe ethically is the answer.
I have to also back up what I believe, right? So people don't think that I'm full of shit. So I need to explain how I reach to the reasoning. What I tell you that yes, it will be ethical.
Okay, so V, I'm just saying, if you have a belief that humans should have a basic right to life, that it's wrong to just kill somebody for shit-ass reasons, and you accept being murdered for literally no reason but your species, your innate nature, that is cutting against your belief in basic human rights. You can try to say it's not, but it's blatantly obvious.
I already explained why it's not. If you don't want to accept it, that's up to you. And I will tell you why it is the way it is. It's because of evolution. Every species on Earth has two things going for it. Number one, the idea of self-preservation of the individual. Nothing wants to die on purpose. And the second one is understanding that, and I'm talking about social creatures like now, that killing their own population is going to cause extinction. So for instance, piranhas don't kill each other, right? Wolves don't kill each other normally, under normal circumstances, if they're from the same pack. Humans don't kill each other if they're from the same tribe. So based on this evolution, humans realize that they can come up with the concept of human rights because it creates better societies, but it's a concept made by humans for humans. It does not apply to non-humans.
Okay, V, I'm trying to get at what you believe. We're not talking about the evolution of human rights. We're talking about what you
believe. What I said right now.
Okay, V, let's get a perfectly clear answer. Okay. You think that it is ethical for a being who can comprehend ethics, who's fully sentient and can have other options available to them. You think it's ethical for them to, for example, stab a human to death based on their being a human?
Yes, and I already explained why.
Yeah, so that cuts against basic human rights. Now you can respond to that by saying, wait, V, just shut up for a sec. When you say that doesn't cut against human rights because human rights don't apply to aliens, that's you derailing to the legal concept of human rights.
All right,
one sec. That's you derailing to the legal concept of human rights. We're talking about your subjective beliefs.
We're going around in circles right now. I already explained my position 5 times. I don't think there's a point in doing it. We'll agree to disagree here.
Well, wait. I just point out, I think it's blatantly obvious that is you violating your own position. So I understand you not wanting to stay on that point because it looks ridiculous.
No, okay, fine. We're going to go around it for the 6th time. Yeah, okay. I think human rights do not apply to people to species outside humans. It is a concept made only for humans.
Okay,
and
so
if I see a pack of dogs killing a person, that doesn't mean that the dog is going to be put on a trial and is going to, be able to plead guilty or innocent. No, we're going to simply exterminate that pack of dogs.
A dog's not a moral agent. We're talking about a being that can conceptualize morality. And I'm pointing out, it's pretty absurd for you to say, like, if you're saying human rights, I don't believe that human rights, I don't subjectively, not legally, subjectively believe that human rights should apply to
and by the way, it's a false equivalence, because when you say, hold on. When you say an alien race
I was in the middle of making a point.
So when you say of an alien race with the possibility of killing humans, you assume that
if you really want me to just talk at the same time, we can both do that. So when you cut me off when I'm trying to talk, I'm going to conclude. Now on,
I'm just going to lower the volume of my speaker.
If you start muting me, I'm just going to leave the conversation. That's just you not being able to actually keep up. Okay, so look, when you're saying that human rights should not apply to anything except humans, by that logic, it's perfectly ethical for an alien species to holocaust the entire planet. If you want to say that that's ethical, I'll say your position is consistent, but I think anyone with a brain...
No, if I say that's ethical, you will say that I don't believe in human rights, because we did this 7 times. Okay. I learned it by heart by now. But here's the difference.
Let's drop the word human rights then, if you want. I'm pointing out that if you think that the right to life, that only applies within humans, then by that logic, it's perfectly ethical for an alien species to holocaust humans.
And I already said yes, and you didn't like my answer.
No, V, I'm fine with your answer. If you're willing to bite the bullet on that, that says everything I need to know.
Here's another predicament, right? You keep talking about a sentient alien race wanting to genocide humans, which are also sentient, right? Chickens aren't sentient. So I'm pretty sure that if chickens would gain sentiency, and we would know that they have reached a level where they are as sentient as humans are, or at least to the point where they can communicate. Do you know what would happen? We would stop genociding chickens.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is just a language barrier, but I don't know if you're using sentient in the same way. Chickens are sentient, so sentient
in the same way that humans are towards the aliens that you're talking about.
Yeah. No, okay. So I wasn't sure if you're actually literally saying chickens aren't sentient, because that would be
the idea of being able to develop a language, being able to read and write, that type of things.
Yeah, and I assume you wouldn't kill humans who can't read and write or speak, so it would be a contradiction. But
no,
we're talking about
when we don't kill humans, because if you start killing humans that can't read or write, then you would just pass a Rubicon where you would start killing other humans, like The idea of not killing humans is imperative, right? But we still kill humans under certain circumstances. So we kill humans for self-defense. We kill humans that we imprison for certain crimes. I mean...
Yeah, but you don't kill them based on the fact that they can't speak. And when you're talking, I just want to point out, V, I've reduced your position to complete absurdity. If you're willing to bite the bullet on a holocaust, a pointless holocaust of the entire human species, I mean, I don't know what else to say. If anyone thinks that's a moral position, then fine. I would submit that that is absolutely insane, and that if you support that, your moral system is not something anyone should buy into.
Already I explained how it would go if we were to meet an alien species.
That's a descriptive answer to a prescriptive question.
Yeah,
we're talking about your ethics.
It's what would happen.
Okay, I hear you talking about what would happen.
And you're asking, okay, would humans bitch about it? Yeah, they probably would. And you know what? Chickens probably bitch about it.
No, I'm not asking would they bitch about it. Like
that is literally the question.
No, V. I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yes, chickens have the right to bitch about human slaughtering them. If you want to put it.
I gotcha. I'm pointing out that when you try to say that species is the justification, setting aside all the other bad justifications you've used, like nature and language and whatever else you want to say, just focusing on species, that one justification. If you think it's okay to kill based on species, then you'd have to say it's fine for a fully sentient alien species that can survive off other products, that comprehends morality, to genocide the entire human race just because of species. If that follows logically from your moral position, I would say that your moral position is something that nobody should accept.
My moral position is that humans will always act in their self-interest. And every other species also... No, let me finish, right?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Species in the universe acts on their own self-interest. So I don't see how this logic would be inconsistent with the fact where a alien species wants to kill humans if it's in their self-interest. I really don't. And humans would also try to fight against that species because it would be in their self-interest to do so.
That part's a descriptive answer to a prescriptive
question. I don't care if it's descriptive. That's my answer. And I think that you will have to take it.
Yeah, no, I'm just pointing out that when you start talking about the descriptive reality, it's a red herring. It's not actually addressing the...
I think it addresses it very well. You just don't like it.
No, V, I'm giving you a very technical and specific statement right now. A prescriptive question, that's about the ethics that you prescribe, what you personally believe to be ethical. A descriptive statement, that's a description of reality. So when you talk about how it would play out if aliens came, that's you giving a descriptive answer.
I'm not telling you how it would play out. I am telling you with certainty that every species cares about its own species more than it cares about other things, right?
Yeah.
So
I think intuitively we do, sure.
Yeah. So from your question, yes, humans would do always in any scenario what benefits other humans.
Well, okay. First, I just want to point out one thing. I don't want to derail into a talk about self-interest yet because we haven't fully moved off species. But with self-interest, it's the same thing. You don't think self-interest just justifies murder, so it would be a contradiction. But when you're talking about species, I just want to get a clear answer from you on this. I think you've answered, but I just want to be 100% certain, so you can't say, that's not what I said later on. Just to be clear. If an alien species, a fully sentient alien species who comprehends morality and has other food options available to them, wants to holocaust all humans just because they're humans, you would consider that ethical?
From their point of view, yes.
Not from their point of view, from your point of view.
Okay, from our point of view, no.
Okay, wait. So I appreciate you saying that, and that is what I consider an honest answer right there, V. So if you don't think that killing just on the grounds of species is ethical, then you would be contradicting yourself by appealing to species in the animal context.
No, it's about morality. That's what makes the difference.
Oh, okay, but wait, we can go on to talk about something else if you want, like morality or self-interest or language or whatever.
It's sentience is what it is. Like if a animal.
Wait, V. But I hear you, and we can talk about sentience.
Right, fine.
When I just don't want to let you move off to sentience without fully closing the species point. So when you say I wouldn't accept being murdered just on grounds of species, right there, you're taking the appeal to species off the table. So if you want to say my consumption of animals is justified by something else, we can go on to that. But you should now agree, you should concede that species itself is not a valid justification in your view.
No, it's conscious. And
okay, wait, but don't say it's something. Wait, V, don't say it's this. Before you go to that.
Oh my fucking god, mate! Can you have an honest conversation? Like, can you fucking drop the act? It's so infuriating.
You're trying to move.
No, hold on. Do you know why people hate vegans? It's because of how you're acting right now. I'm not even kidding. Like,
V.
Imagine having a conversation with a twat like you. Like, if you would clone yourself and put yourself in the same room.
Look. V.
You would find scratches on the wall because you couldn't handle each other.
V.
Like what you're doing right now. You can't
V.
let
No, V. It's V. You don't. V.
Because if your point is to piss me off, like congratulations, you did it. Like look, you can't stop. You're a fucking artist. Like you keep going like V. Just shut the fuck up and let me scream at you for a little bit so I can
V. You can scream.
Wait. Even the chat is
going off of the point. V. You're going off of the point.
This is working.
No, okay.
Because I can do it as well. Like I can talk for hours.
We can both do it.
It's fine. Until you calm down, I will not stop.
So I will make my point once again.
I will
when you appeal to species to justify killing animals, and then you say you wouldn't accept the appeal to species.
Like, look, the chat is that saying that I honestly care about the chat more than this shit.
I hear what you're saying.
To have an honest conversation. You're just here to read
I'm
going to repeat over and over.
All right. Well, if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. So all I'm trying to get from you, V, is a concession before we move on.
Are you the life of the party?
That's not an argument. V, that's not an argument.
No, but it is an argument. It's an insult.
You're not debating. You're not debating right now. You're avoiding the point.
How can people stomach you? Because now I understand,
V.
No. Until you calm down, I'm not going to calm down. Like, if you think this tactic will work, you're wrong.
Well, I literally
because I can be an artist as well.
Okay, V, I'm just.
I read Cambridge. I know how to be an artist.
Okay,
like, look,
I hear what you're saying, but before. Okay, so I'm just gonna need to make. I'll just.
And I see that as well. Like, look, Sargoy, where? Like,
so okay, when you appeal to species to justify killing animals,
he can still do it.
But
how
then
long
when
do you think
it comes to the case of aliens, you reject the appeal to species.
For at least 20
that is not a consistent position.
But
so when you finally say that it's actually wrong for the aliens to kill us based on species, then you're rejecting the species justification.
I think directly is less.
I just want you to accept that point before you move on to the next thing. Before you talk about sentience, you just need to concede
this all day. Jesus fucking Christ! Someone actually.
Will you concede? Will you concede the point?
Holy shit! You can do this all day.
Will you concede the point?
Can you have an honest conversation, mate, and then I will have an honest conversation as well?
Yes, when you answer the point. When you answer the point.
Okay, so you can't stop being autistic.
V.
When you're born this way, or is it a gift? Is it the energy you get from other vegans that make you feel like this?
I'm trying to ask you an honest question. I just want you to answer.
And I'm trying to ask you, can we have an honest conversation?
Of course we can,
No,
but
we
you
can't.
to
No,
V
we
to
can't.
have
You're acting
V
like
to
this. We
have
can't.
an honest conversation, you have to answer before
Okay,
going
can
to
you
a
be
new
like
point.
two people discussing in a bar without, going with all the, this is a red herring, and this is a non sequitur, and this is a
Not if it is. Not if it is.
Oh, well,
V, I
okay.
just want an answer before you move on. I'm willing to let you talk as long as you want. I just want you to answer the point before going to a new point. That's honestly it. I'm just pointing out with the species thing.
Yeah, but do you understand that you are
come
being...
on, V.
See, when you do this, and you refuse to have a conversation, you're being very infuriating.
You are the one.
Honestly, be honest with me for a second. How many people do you piss off per day?
V.
Yeah, when you repeat my name over and over, I'm not going to be quiet.
Oh, V, I'm trying to get
working.
You to
like it worked 3 times.
Trying to get you to answer a question.
And now I'm just pissed off.
Get you to answer a question. V, I'm just trying to get you to answer a question. Will you answer?
I'm also telling you, leave the question alone for a little bit. Talk to me like a human and not like a robot.
No way.
V,
this is like V, will you answer?
When you find one of those bots that are at call centers, you're like one of them.
V, will you answer the question? Will you answer the question?
I'm asking you before we go any further.
No, that's a derail. Answer the question.
There you go. Answer the question. People don't talk like this, babe.
V, will you answer the question?
On the spectrum, do you consider yourself to be on the high or on the lower level?
Will you answer the question?
There you go. You can't have an honest conversation.
V, I've asked you a question. I'm wanting an answer.
A robot, mate. Unless you talk like a human being.
Will you answer the question?
A normal person.
Yeah, V, I'm talking. I'm just waiting for you to answer before we move on to you talking about sentience. I remember exactly what you want to talk about. V, I'm perfectly aware of where you want to go. You want to talk about sentience. I'm happy to go there. I just want you to answer the question.
No, see, you're not following. Right now, I want to talk about how many people do you piss off a day.
That's you changing the topic.
I'm really curious.
I just want an answer to the question.
If you talk like this with other people,
I just want an answer to the question. So will you answer?
I'm putting it on pause. Can you put the conversation on pause for a little bit?
V, I want you. No, definitely not. V, I want you to answer the question.
Veganism is like your religion. You can't stop talking about it.
V, you can't argue, can you? I want you to.
I can argue. Let's
so answer the question.
There's a resume button after the pause, right? So let's put it on pause.
I don't want to have some conversation about vegans are so mean. I want you to answer the question.
I'm telling you, you can't stop this. Like you yourself, you can't stop yourself and talk about something else for 5 seconds.
V, do you hear how I pause at the end of every sentence to give you room to answer? I'm not trying to just talk over you. I just want you to answer the question.
And I am telling you, can we pause the vegan conversation for 10 seconds?
What to talk about?
Like a normal talk for a little bit.
To talk about what? To talk about vegan behavior?
No.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about why can't you just talk like a normal person?
Okay, V, that's you not actually engaging in what I'm saying.
Yes, we're pausing the conversation. We're not engaging anymore.
No,
okay?
V,
listen. It's a ceasefire for a little bit.
No. That's V. That's just you trying to make me look like an asshole, and that's fine if your people perceive me like that. I'm just trying to get an answer from you.
They're not my people, by the way.
There's
plenty of vegans in the chat.
Viewers, okay. I don't. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but V.
Yes, there's an overlap. Look, I just want to ask.
Have I not answered any of your questions? Is there anything you've asked that I haven't answered?
Yes. Why can't you talk like a normal human being?
Okay, V. That's you asking a question. Well,
this is how you talk with people in your life.
If you want to talk about V, if you want to talk about that after you answer the question, we can even go there. But you need to actually answer what's being asked to you. So look, all I'm saying.
Mate, we paused the conversation for a little bit.
V,
you can't understand that. It's not.
V, I have no interest in having some conversation with you about why are you like this? Why are you like that? I don't care.
Yeah, well, I find this conversation.
You know what I could call that? I could call that moral fagging. I don't have to go by your little standard there. So
yeah, but they're my moralities, and I apply them to myself.
Okay, V, I just want an answer. So look, please, just listen. When you're saying that you don't accept the species appeal when it comes to aliens killing you,
do you understand? I lost interest in this. Like I legit.
Okay, so no. If you want to end the conversation, we can end the conversation.
No, I want to pause the conversation. Is there a pause button with you? Like we can resume it a little bit later. Put a pause button.
It depends why you want to pause. If you want,
I would explain why I want to pause. If you can pause.
If it's just about vegan behavior, no. But what do you want to pause about?
It's about your behavior.
No, I don't want to talk about V. That's not of interest to me. I want an answer.
Well, it is of interest to me because I care about the person I talk with and how they're behaving. Yeah, it's really important. So my question is
V, come on. You can't ask a
Stop
question.
saying my name because it's not going to work to make me quiet. I can
No,
be
no, V.
Unlike you, I have an on-off button.
Yeah, no. I hear what you're saying, but you're trying to derail to another question when I've got a question on the table.
Conversation. This is why you don't hear what I'm saying.
Oh my God, man.
So there you go. No, see, I can
I'm V. It's just a question. Will you answer it or not? If you're saying you won't answer the question. No, V, we're not having some other conversation.
On Twitter and explain to him that I want to pause the conversation because I can't seem to get to him.
V, what kind of thing is that to do? You're trying to send people to troll me on Twitter? You know, I could do the same to you, and I would never do that. I would never send my audience to come after you on Twitter.
Like, I just want you to understand. I want to pause the conversation.
And I'm telling you, I don't want to pause. We can stop. If you want to stop the conversation, that's fine. But I don't want to pause and go to some other topic. So if you let's go back. Look, V, let's make it simple, okay? Do you want to end the conversation now, or do you want to answer the question?
No, I just want.
Okay, because that's the ultimatum.
I mean, it depends. It depends on what you will answer if we pause the conversation. Because all I want to ask if you want to have a honest conversation where we're talking like two mature human beings, then that's fine. But if you're going to act this,
that's what you're not doing. No, that's not that's not an argument. I'm trying to ask you a question.
It is an argument based on my sanity. See, I don't think my sanity can
it's
take
not an argument. V,
what do you mean my sanity is not an argument? It's a very strong argument. I care about my mental health, mate.
But let's just be respectful here. We have two options. I'm just going to give you an ultimatum. You can answer the question, or we can end the conversation. What would you prefer? It's your choice.
Well, I would prefer to answer the question if you would stop being an autist and have like a normal discussion with me.
I'm literally just waiting for you to answer it. Calling me an autist, that's not an argument. Okay, so do you want to answer it?
It's not an argument. It's a description of real life events, mate.
V, I'm just asking.
No one behaves like you have behaved. I have spoke with so many people.
You're derailing.
Oh my fucking God.
V, look. I'm just asking you a question. Right now, I'm just giving you an ultimatum. Do you want to answer the question and continue the discussion, or do you want to stop the conversation? I'm happy with either.
If the conversation goes on like it went up till now, I want to stop it. Is that
okay? The conversation, if it continues, it would be you answering the question and then us going to whatever's next.
All right. After I answered the question, I'll ask you a question. Is that fair enough?
Of course, that's what I've been saying this entire time.
Well, maybe if you wouldn't be an artist, you'd manage to transmit the message towards me. All right.
That's not an argument. So, okay.
What do you mean it's not an argument? Jesus fucking Christ. Do you even understand what an argument is? I am argumenting the way I'm behaving.
Okay, V, listen. I'm sitting here. I'm perfectly capable of having a respectful conversation with you, but I'm not interested in your derails. So when you try going off point and talking over me, I don't want to humor that. So the question is very simple, okay? When you're saying that you wouldn't accept, well, you were originally saying that you would accept being killed by aliens, but now you're saying, no, I don't actually consider it ethical for aliens to Holocaust humans just based on species. So you're saying there that species itself is not a valid justification.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's okay. Do you think that
conscience? That's what.
No. Yes. V. I hear you trying to move to consciousness, but if it's consciousness, then it's not species.
I answered your question, and you refuse to take my fucking answer, and then you're wondering why I'm behaving like this. I want to stop the conversation. No, that's it.
Okay, it's a red herring. But yeah, it's a red
Listen,
herring.
You have managed to piss me off, and this is why you think you won this. You didn't win this because normal people do not talk like this. Okay.
Well, I'm happy.
So I'm giving you the W. I'm giving you the win on this. On the fact that you're super annoying, which I think is what vegan activists try to do when they spray blood on people, right? You want to annoy people until they give in. You ask me a question, the chat listen, right?
No, V, you gave a red herring.
And they can make up their own mind who's disingenuous.
I asked if species is the justification.
Yes, and I told you, no, it's not. It's conscience.
Wait. No. That time you did. Wait. That time you did. That time you said, no, it's not. It's conscious. That is a fine answer. Saying just it's conscious, that doesn't address the species point. So now that you've actually said, no, it's not species, and you've conceded that point, now we can move to the next point. That's how a proper philosophical conversation goes. So if you want to make another point, we can continue. If you're too frustrated, we can drop it. But I'm glad that you actually have now conceded.
You have managed to piss me off. Okay, very few people manage to do this. I think harmful opinions is one of them. Now I know there's two people on the internet. And you know what's interesting? I speak with SJWs. Like I speak with the biggest cancer of people on earth. Mm-hmm. They can't piss me off.
That's probably because they're wrong.
Yeah, but I think you know this. Listen.
Mhm.
I expected that I would have a conversation with another person. Talking to you is like talking to one of those bots when you go to animal rescue centers and they ask you what's the problem, and they have like a prescripted response for the shit that you type in.
Okay,
That's how I
yeah,
felt
so
about this conversation.
okay, you can say that, but what I'm feeling right now is I'm actually content that you have conceded the species point. So when you say no, it's not species, that's all I'm looking for, V. It's really simple. So if you want to move to another thing now, we can go there. If you want to stop, we can stop. Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, that's exactly what a prescripted bot would say, because a prescripted bot wouldn't understand that he managed to piss off the other person he's talking with.
No, V, it's just that I don't care about your feelings. So I'm sorry if that upsets you. I just don't. I care about the actual topic.
But it's a different thing when you're actually speaking with the person. Like I'm not making an argument where my feelings would have to censor you or some shit like that, right? We're two people talking, and yeah, I would care about the feelings of the person that I'm talking with. So if I know that I'm annoying the other person and I want to have a civilized conversation, then I would ask, okay, what am I doing to annoy? This is normal, basic bitch human interaction. It's not like when I'm reading a newspaper and someone is using their feelings in order to justify passing a law or some shit.
Okay, I understand that you want to now have a talk about how to have a conversation. I can point out the things that you're doing are annoying me and causing me to have to hammer my point through. There's two sides to every story, but I consider that not actually that relevant to the debate. So
I guess, yes, it takes to nag. One person has to constantly hammer through and the other person gets annoyed. Yeah.
Okay.
I understand nagging.
Yeah. So if you'll notice, like I'm constantly, as you're de-escalating, trying to take my voice down and give you room to speak. That's because I have no interest, V, in just talking over you or filibustering, but I won't let you not answer questions. So
when
you have answered.
Question, listen, when I answer a question,
you have answered now. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry?
When I answer a question honestly, and I'm doing my best to give you an answer, and then you say, no, I don't like your answers for reasons. That's no. It's
not I don't like for reasons. There's an actual problem that I clearly pointed out with the answer.
Right.
Yeah.
When you will ask an answer from me, I will give it to you. And if you find the problem, state it for the chat and we move on. Okay. I'm answering as honestly as possible as I can, and I will not repeat the same answer to a question that you're asking me.
Oh no, you don't have. I don't think you understand. You have answered it now. So look, V, all that happened in that entire span of time is once you admitted that you wouldn't want to get killed by the aliens based on species, then that was the species justification getting rejected. And I just wanted you to concede that species is not valid as a justification for murder before moving to the next thing. You have conceded it now, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm fitting in your flowchart. Okay, go on. Next question.
You seem to think that I just want to filibuster. Again, I don't want to just talk over you. I just don't want you to go.
No, it's not you talking over me. It's you being an autist and repeating the same question over and over and over again until the other person loses its patience and finally gives you the answer you want just so you can shut the fuck up.
Oh, wait. No. Now you're saying that you might not mean the answer. So now we have to go back.
Like,
no. Okay, but now
this is recorded. Yeah. Go to the beginning of the stream. Take my first answer. Before you autistically repeated the question over and over, like the police does when they interrogate a witness, and you will see the first answer that I gave you, and that is it. But we're playing the way you want, so go on, ask the next question.
Well, no, because now you're backtracking. I don't think you fully grasp what's happening here. So when you say it's sentience or it's consciousness, that is you not answering the question and red herringing to another thing. When you say, wait, but V, it's a really subtle difference, and I really want you to appreciate it. So there's answer A, which is it's sentience, and then there's answer B, no, it's not species, it's sentience. So B, you're actually answering the question, and then you're moving to the next topic. That's fine. A is just you red herringing. So it's just that's important to me. I need you to actually answer the point. So now you've suggested that your answer that it's not species that makes the justification might actually not be honest. So now I just want to be clear. You don't accept being murdered by the alien species, obviously. I get that. I don't either. So you understand that species per se, that is to say species on its own, that's not a justification. You agree with that, right? You actually agree with that?
Yes.
Do you actually mean that, or are you just saying that to humor me?
I don't know.
Okay, so I can't get a straight answer from you, is what you're saying?
Your interrogation techniques have successfully broken me.
Well, V, it's not the end of the world to not be able to hold a certain position. It's like it's just so you debate
My
and then it
position,
changes.
and I will repeat it once and for the final time, it's up to you if you accept it or not. Okay, human rights are only for humans. If another species wants to kill humans, then they would not be violating human rights. Do you understand this? Probably not.
Okay, V, that's why I'm trying to make it clear that we're not just talking about the legal construct of human rights. We're talking about your subjective beliefs.
That is my answer. What you do with it, it's up to you. Next question, please.
Okay, well, V, the thing is, for me, when I do these conversations, people will give you, like, this is what you learn as a vegan. People will give you a lot of different justifications. They'll say, oh, it's nature, oh, it's species, oh, it's this,
and you
it's
have
that.
a flow chart, and I'm breaking your flow chart, and
Well,
you can't ask the next question because it's not on your flow chart. I have given you my answer. Next question.
Well, wait. The thing is, this will actually probably create a barrier we might not be able to get past because I have actually a rule. I won't go to another thing till we close off the first point. So if
you will not go to another rule until you get the answer you want. I have already given you an answer which you do not want to accept.
It doesn't have to be the answer that I want. If you give,
I have given you an answer, mate.
No. It can be an answer that I don't want, but it has to be an answer to the question.
I have answered the question.
Well,
it is from an egotistical point of view of the species, right? Humans care about only other humans. So from their point of view is the only way I can answer as a human. I can't answer objectively because I am a human being.
Well, that's a bit weird. Earlier, you were trying to answer from the alien's perspective.
Because we're talking about human rights. Human rights apply only to humans. And as a human, I can only talk about human rights.
Okay. So let's talk about what you actually subjectively consider ethical, not just about the legal construct of rights.
I subjectively, as a human, consider that humans are the most important shit in the universe, and anything that harms humans needs to be exterminated.
Okay, so just to be clear, V, you think that being murdered based on species alone, that's not valid. Just to be clear.
No. What I said is, as a human, subjectively, I consider anything that harms humans should be exterminated. Thus, based on the morality that I have laid forward, an alien species that wants to fuck with humans should be exterminated to the last individual.
Okay, I'm just trying to get your actual subjective belief on what is ethical, though, V, right? So, like, when it comes to something else, like rape or whatever, you'll
believe what is ethical. If it harms humans, it's not ethical. If it benefits humans, it's ethical.
Okay, so just to be clear, obviously being killed on the grounds of species, that would justify harming humans. So you wouldn't be able to actually accept that argument, correct?
No, if it harms humans, it needs to be killed to the last individual of that species.
Okay, I hear you saying if it does this, it needs to be killed. But I'm just trying to get, do you think it's ethical? So I'm just
my moral compass, again, maybe you didn't understand, harming humans bad, helping humans good. That is it. It's very simple moral compass that you can use in order to find out whatever question you want to ask me.
I hear you answering with your moral compass, but I hear you not directly answering the question. So when I'm asking about the alien Holocaust, if you, like, V, what this all comes from is earlier you were using species as a justification for killing animals, right?
Because as I said before, right, if it's against humans, then it's another species that's doing shit to humans, it's bad.
Okay, so just to be clear, species itself, in your view, is not a valid ethical justification for murder.
It is.
Okay,
because it's not human. If it's not human, it doesn't have rights. If it's not human, then it deserves exterminatus. What do you not understand from this?
Well, what I don't understand is you're giving actually different answers. So let me just lay out what the question really means here.
The question's autistically, so I'm trying to give different answers in order to reach you. Maybe like one of these different answers.
No, your answers conflict with each other. Your answers conflict with each other. So V, you have two options, really. Like, you can either say, yes, I accept the aliens killing humans based on species, or you can say, no, I don't. So if you do accept being killed based on species...
I choose option C, mate. Option C means that aliens are not humans, and thus they need to be killed. What do you not understand?
But V, it's a binary question. You either accept or don't accept.
Binary questions. I'm sorry.
Wait, that's like Jordan Peterson shit. Do you believe in Jesus? That's a binary question. Did Jesus rise from the dead? Binary question. It's just, do you believe it? Yes or no. You either do or don't believe it.
This is my point with your flowchart. This is why you refuse to go to the next question. It's because
no, you're different with every other question. Do you believe the sky exists? That's a binary question. It's either a yes or a no. There's not an option C.
Well, that is. I would say, yeah, the sky is an optical illusion. There you go. Which it is, by the way. Yeah, the sky.
Okay, yes, I hear that like little technical answer there. But wait. Let me. That's fine. I'll specify the questions. Do you believe that the molecules that compose the sky exist or not?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a binary question. So if someone says, do you believe X? It's just binary. It's you either believe it or you don't. So when it comes to species justifying murder, if you say, yes, I do believe it, and you bite the bullet
if I ask, did you beat your mom today? Yes or no?
Yeah, well, the answer would be no, obviously. That's a binary question.
Okay, well, let me ask it in a different way now. Why did you beat your mom today?
I didn't beat my mom today. That implies that I beat my mom today.
We see that, right.
Yeah, but V, what?
Okay, let me ask you a binary question.
Wait. I'm just asking. What's the
parallel? No, hold on. Did you beat your mom with a stick or with a mace? It's a binary question. You need to answer.
No, that's not a binary between two opposites, V. That's a binary between two different things. That's a false dichotomy. So that's a different type of question, right? So if you say, did you fly or did you space travel today? That's a false dichotomy because there's other options. If you say, did you fly today? Yes or no? That's not a false dichotomy. That's a binary question that there's a yes or no answer to. So when it comes to, and I also want to point out, when you suggest that I'm slipping in some kind of implication, like with the did you beat your mom today question, that is actually a binary question with a yes or no answer. But that has an implication that you beat your mom.
With that.
I'm just pointing out there's no parallel, weird, subtle implication in my question. So with the alien question, it's really simple. There's a binary answer. You either do believe in murder based on species or you don't. So if you accept the alien Holocaust,
yes,
I will say
I definitely believe on murder based on species. Like we're trying to exterminate mosquitoes, for instance. Yes, it is absolutely ethical to use murder based on species.
Okay, so do you accept aliens murdering humans based on species?
Yes, because they might view humans as a threat.
No, wait. No, V, you're adding threat. You're adding threat. We're talking about just species.
No, I can't do this. No, conversation over. It is impossible to have an honest conversation with you. I'm really sorry. If you think you won, congratulations. You pissed me off. Yeah.
Well, V, you're adding in that it's a threat.
That is it.
You're saying it's a threat.
I can't. No, sorry. It's
so you can't.
Yeah. I can't. Honest to God, this guy is just fucking hell. Too much for me. He wins. No, he gets the W. I'm sorry. I suppose this is a way of arguing where you piss off the other person until they don't want to take part in the conversation and you win by default. So if that's the case, then yeah, he is the best debater on the internet, and he managed to do his shit, but he still didn't convince me of his point because he wouldn't just go past the first question. I just said, okay, move on. Next question. He didn't want. Oh my fucking God.